Topic: Tourism brings economic benefits to a country, but it can also cause environmental and cultural damage. Do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? Tourism is one of the world's largest industries, contributing significantly to economic development. However, it also raises concerns regarding environmental sustainability and cultural integrity. The main advantage of tourism lies in its economic contribution. It generates employment in hospitality, transport, and entertainment sectors while boosting local businesses. Additionally, revenue from tourism can be reinvested in infrastructure and heritage preservation. For instance, countries such as Thailand and Spain rely heavily on tourism for national income, supporting millions of livelihoods. Nevertheless, the negative effects cannot be ignored. Excessive tourism often leads to pollution, waste, and the destruction of natural habitats. Furthermore, local traditions can become commercialized, losing their authenticity as they are adapted to cater to foreign visitors. In some cases, overcrowding also disrupts local communities and raises living costs. Despite these drawbacks, I believe the advantages outweigh the disadvantages if tourism is managed responsibly. Governments can promote ecotourism, limit visitor numbers in fragile areas, and encourage cultural education among tourists. Such measures allow countries to enjoy economic benefits while preserving their environment and heritage. In conclusion, tourism's advantages surpass its downsides when sustainable practices are implemented. Responsible tourism can be both a source of prosperity and a tool for cultural preservation. Topic: Some people think that governments should invest more in public health, while others believe that money should be spent on education. Discuss both views and give your opinion. Health and education are both essential pillars of a nation's development. While some argue that governments should prioritize healthcare, others maintain that education deserves more investment. Both perspectives have merit. Supporters of healthcare funding emphasize that a healthy population is the foundation of a productive society. Without good health, citizens cannot work effectively or contribute economically. For example, during the pandemic, nations with well-funded healthcare systems were better equipped to respond swiftly, saving countless lives. Moreover, investing in preventive healthcare, such as vaccinations and awareness programs, reduces long-term medical costs and enhances quality of life. Conversely, advocates of education argue that it provides the intellectual and professional base needed for national progress. Educated citizens are more likely to make informed health decisions, drive innovation, and contribute to economic stability. Furthermore, education fosters critical thinking, which helps people understand and adopt healthier lifestyles, thereby indirectly improving public health. In my opinion, health and education should not be viewed as competing priorities but as complementary ones. However, if a choice must be made, education should take precedence, as it empowers individuals to maintain both their own health and the well-being of society in the long run. In conclusion, while health investment ensures immediate welfare, education builds sustainable prosperity. A balanced policy addressing both areas is essential for holistic national development. Topic: Some people believe that longer prison sentences are the best way to reduce crime, while others think there are better ways to decrease crime rates. Discuss both views and give your opinion. Crime prevention remains a major concern for governments worldwide. While longer prison sentences are often proposed as a deterrent, others believe that alternative measures are more effective. Those in favor of extended imprisonment argue that strict punishment discourages potential offenders. They claim that fear of severe consequences can prevent crimes such as theft or assault. Additionally, keeping dangerous criminals behind bars for longer periods ensures public safety by removing them from society. However, critics of this approach point out that harsher penalties do not address the root causes of crime. Many offenders commit crimes due to poverty, lack of education, or social inequality. Instead of focusing solely on punishment, governments could invest in rehabilitation programs, vocational training, and community support to help reintegrate offenders into society. Countries like Norway, for example, have achieved remarkably low crime rates through such rehabilitative systems. In my view, while longer sentences may be appropriate for serious crimes, a more balanced approach combining deterrence with rehabilitation is far more sustainable. Punishment alone may suppress crime temporarily, but addressing social and economic factors can prevent it permanently. In conclusion, both punishment and prevention have roles in reducing crime. A modern justice system must strike a balance between deterrence, rehabilitation, and social reform. Topic: Globalization has led to the loss of cultural identity in some societies. Do the advantages outweigh the disadvantages? Globalization has undeniably reshaped the modern world, fostering interconnectedness and economic growth. Yet, concerns persist regarding its impact on cultural identity. Evaluating both sides is necessary to determine whether its benefits outweigh its drawbacks. On the positive side, globalization has brought economic prosperity and access to knowledge. Developing countries, for example, benefit from trade, foreign investment, and the exchange of technologies. Additionally, cultural exchange enriches societies, allowing individuals to experience diverse cuisines, art, and traditions. Such exposure promotes tolerance and mutual understanding among nations. However, the cultural costs are significant. Western culture, in particular, has dominated global media, fashion, and consumer goods, often overshadowing local traditions. This homogenization leads to younger generations losing touch with their native languages, customs, and values. In extreme cases, smaller cultures risk extinction under the pressure of global conformity. In my view, while globalization brings undeniable opportunities, its negative impact on cultural preservation is concerning. Governments should actively promote national heritage through education, festivals, and media while simultaneously engaging with the global community. In conclusion, globalization offers considerable advantages in terms of development and cultural exchange, yet it poses serious threats to identity. A balanced approach that embraces global progress while safeguarding traditions is essential.
Topic: In many countries, people spend long hours at work. Why does this happen? What problems can this cause? In the modern era, long working hours have become increasingly common. This phenomenon can be attributed to several factors, and it brings with it a host of challenges for individuals and society. One primary reason for extended work hours is economic competition. In a globalized economy, companies strive to maximize productivity and profitability, often pressuring employees to work beyond standard hours. Furthermore, technological advancements blur the boundary between work and personal life. Emails and virtual meetings make it difficult for employees to disconnect. Additionally, rising living costs compel many individuals to take on additional hours or secondary jobs to maintain their standard of living. The consequences, however, are profound. Long working hours can significantly harm physical and mental health, leading to stress, exhaustion, and even chronic illnesses. From a social perspective, families may suffer, as parents have less time to spend with their children, weakening relationships and reducing overall life satisfaction. Moreover, excessive work may reduce productivity in the long term, as overworked employees tend to be less efficient and more prone to burnout. In conclusion, long working hours result primarily from economic and technological pressures. Nevertheless, the costs to health, family life, and workplace efficiency highlight the urgent need for balance. Governments and employers should implement policies promoting flexible working conditions to safeguard both productivity and well-being.
Topic. The news media has become too focused on negative events, such as crimes and disasters. Some think it should report more positive news. To what extent do you agree or disagree? In recent years, news outlets have increasingly prioritized negative stories. While some argue that media simply reflects reality, I believe it should also give greater attention to positive developments. On one hand, it is understandable that journalists cover negative news, as it often has higher public interest. Reporting on issues like corruption or violence helps hold authorities accountable and raises awareness about social problems. Without such coverage, citizens might remain uninformed about matters that affect their safety and rights. However, excessive negativity can distort public perception and foster anxiety. Continuous exposure to bad news may lead people to believe the world is more dangerous than it truly is. Positive reporting on scientific discoveries, acts of kindness, or community improvements can inspire hope and collective action. Furthermore, a balanced approach enhances credibility and reflects a more accurate picture of society. In my view, while negative news is necessary, the media has a moral duty to provide balanced coverage. Highlighting positive achievements can motivate people to engage in constructive change rather than despair. In conclusion, the media should strive for equilibrium between negative and positive reporting. An informed yet optimistic public is crucial for social progress. In modern society, people are becoming more self-centered and less concerned about others. What are the reasons for this trend, and how can it be reversed? Modern life has often been criticized for promoting selfishness and weakening social bonds. Several factors contribute to this trend, but practical measures can help restore a sense of community. One major reason is the fast pace of urban life. People are preoccupied with careers and personal goals, leaving little time for social engagement. Additionally, the rise of technology has created virtual connections at the expense of real-world relationships. Social media, though designed to bring people together, often encourages self-promotion rather than empathy. Economic pressures also play a role, as individuals compete for limited resources in an increasingly materialistic society. To reverse this trend, both education and community initiatives are essential. Schools can teach empathy and social responsibility from an early age. Local governments can also encourage volunteerism and organize events that bring residents together. Moreover, limiting screen time and promoting face-to-face communication can help rebuild genuine human connections. In conclusion, the growing self-centeredness in modern society results from technological, social, and economic pressures. By fostering empathy and community spirit through education and participation, this concerning trend can be effectively countered.
Topic. Many believe that individuals are powerless to make a difference in protecting the environment, while others think they can play an essential role. Discuss both views and give your opinion. Protecting the environment has become one of the most pressing challenges of the 21st century. Opinions are divided as to whether individual actions are meaningful or insignificant in this global struggle. Those who believe individuals cannot make a difference argue that environmental issues require systemic solutions. Climate change, for instance, is largely driven by industrial emissions, deforestation, and large-scale energy consumption, factors beyond the control of ordinary citizens. Without government intervention and international agreements, personal efforts may appear negligible. In contrast, supporters of individual responsibility highlight the cumulative effect of small actions. Everyday choices, such as reducing plastic use, conserving water, or using public transportation, can collectively lower environmental damage. Additionally, individuals can influence policy by raising awareness, supporting eco-friendly companies, and voting for leaders who prioritize sustainability. A striking example is the global movement to reduce single-use plastics, which began with grassroots efforts and has now influenced legislation in many countries. Personally, I believe individual action is essential, though insufficient on its own. While governments and corporations bear the greatest responsibility, individual behavior not only reduces environmental damage, but also sets social norms that pressure larger institutions to act. In conclusion, although large-scale change is indispensable, individual contributions remain a vital component of environmental protection. Both must work hand in hand to secure a sustainable future. Topic. Some people think that academic subjects should be taught at school, while practical skills such as cooking and financial management should be left to parents. Do you agree or disagree? Education plays a vital role in shaping future generations. While some believe schools should focus solely on academic subjects, leaving practical skills to parents, I strongly disagree with this notion and argue that schools should teach both. Firstly, not all parents possess the knowledge or resources to impart practical skills effectively. For example, financial literacy is a complex subject, requiring structured guidance that many parents may not be equipped to provide. Schools, with trained educators and comprehensive curricula, are better suited to deliver such lessons in a standardized and systematic way. Secondly, equipping students with practical skills prepares them for adulthood. Cooking, budgeting, and basic household management are essential life skills that contribute to independence and responsibility. Without such knowledge, young people may struggle when they begin living on their own, regardless of their academic achievements. However, it is undeniable that academic knowledge remains central to intellectual development. Subjects like mathematics, literature, and science build critical thinking and problem-solving skills. The key, therefore, lies in balance. By integrating practical subjects alongside academic ones, schools can provide a holistic education that prepares students for both professional and personal success. In conclusion, leaving practical skills solely to parents is neither fair nor effective. Schools should combine academic and practical learning to produce well-rounded individuals capable of navigating both intellectual and everyday challenges.